You asked for it, so we're doing it.
Let's rate the perennials. Perennials are the backbone of any cottage garden, and our garden does have quite a few. Recently, we went through the annuals in our garden and rated them on a scale of 1 to 10, and we had a lot of requests for us to do the perennials as well. So our rule is the perennial has had to overwinter at least 1 year, so it had a fair shake so we could see how it did its thing. And we're gonna go with a 1 being a flop and a 10 being a must-have in the garden. We're gonna start in this area here because in the northeast corner of our garden, this is a whole big smattering of perennial texture. So let's start with our absolute 10 out of 10, probably my favorite perennial in the entire garden. It should be good to start on a high note, right, Eric?
I think we can start on a high note for sure.
This is Backlight Phlox. It's a tall garden phlox with the clearest white flower and the cleanest green foliage. It's tall, it blooms for 6-7 weeks. I really love this.
I think it's a very strong contender for a 10 out of 10 because for me, when I'm thinking about perennials, I want really long bloom time. And if it doesn't have really long bloom time, I want it to come back and bloom again very quickly after it's been cut back after its first flush. So that's kind of what I'm looking for a high score from a perennial in the garden. And I agree. I think that this Backlight Phlox, that's what it's called, right? I always get the name mixed up.
Yes, Backlight Phlox
is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. So stay right in that spot. I'm going to pop pictures up on the screen, but you can see this whole overall picture of perennials is awesome. Right behind that, soon to bloom, there's a couple of them in here. This is a Summerrific hibiscus. This is very awesome. I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. I love this plant. This in particular has gotten really tall this year. It's been here for a couple years, really big flowers. It's the color combination for me. What's your number?
You know, with the Summerrific hibiscus, I love them when they're flowering. For me, I would take a couple of points off because they don't flower until so late for us. That would subtract a couple of points, but the blooms are so gorgeous that I think I'm also going to agree with you with an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm really putting a lot of thought into this.
Yes, he's got thoughts on perennials.
I feel like if people want our opinions, I'm going to really be thoughtful about them. So I think that Summerrific hibiscus, 8 out of 10.
Okay, I agree. This big, huge swath of cool green, that is Decadence Deluxe Pink Lemonade Baptisia. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 because in the spring it is so beautiful and the flowers are so beautiful and it does stay healthy and green and lush, but the bloom time isn't as long. So this area actually, we have a repetition, or not a repetition, like a systematic blooming going on, but I wish that bloomed a little longer.
I'm going to go ahead and give that a 9 out of 10. I'm not so concerned about the bloom time with it because I think this healthy, bright, beautiful foliage is like a texture and color that you really can't find with any other perennial in the garden. And I think that makes it really, really unique. So I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's missing that 1 point because of the bloom time.
Okay.
But I think it makes up for it with the gorgeous foliage and the interesting seed pods.
I'm into that. Below me, this actually is its first year coming back in from dormancy. This is the Cherry Truffles Heucherella. Now, I love Heucherella. Eric always calls me the coral bell pusher. It's not his favorite.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, ugh, coral bells. I love them when they're fresh and brand new, but they rarely ever come back good for us.
Until now.
Until now. So for coral bell, this is very strong performing for us.
So give me a number. What do you think?
I mean, I can quantify it in my life. So
okay.
In coral bell world, I think this is a 10 out of 10 coral bell. In like perennial world, actually, you know what? I love it with that icebreaker Korean fir behind it, which, yeah, maybe, you know what? For me, this coral bell in particular is a 10 out of 10.
Oh my goodness.
And it doesn't have excessive bloom stalks, which is also nice.
Yeah, it's looked like this for a couple weeks now, actually probably a couple months now. I'm also going to give this, I think, you know what? 8 out of 10. Okay. Only because I would love it if it was a little shinier and more vivid on the top leaf.
More shiny and vivid.
We are splitting hairs on this. Next to it, we have Serendipity Allium.
I love Serendipity Allium. It is really easy to divide, so you can spread it all throughout your garden if you want. The foliage is super interesting throughout the entire season. The pollinators adore it. It does bloom later in the season, but for me, I can't imagine our garden without Serendipity Allium.
Same.
So for me, it is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, possible 11 out of 10. Now, we have a perennial in here called Superba Stackies. This is something we've had for some years. It puts this purple flower out. It has the big green leaves. I would go with I'm gonna say just a 7 out of 10. It's not awful. It's pretty. It does its thing. Not a showstopper.
Oh, I literally don't care about that perennial. That is like a 2 out of 10 for me.
All right, see what...
If that never came back, I wouldn't miss it.
How
I don't
about...
feel like it does anything.
Okay, how about this blue boa agastache?
Love it. I love the smell of it. I love the color of the flowers. I love that the pollinators are all over it. I love that it spreads itself around. I love that you can cut it back and it comes back quickly. It is, for me, like essential for our garden. But it has been dwindling over the past few seasons. So for that, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. We did divide some and move it around a little bit, so maybe that'll reinvigorate the plant.
I hope so.
Okay, I'm gonna go with kind of the 8 out of 10 as well. Now, there's some perennials back here and also a flop castor bean. We're not talking about those, they just went in the ground. But this year, we had pink profusion salvia come back.
Tell me more.
So I think it is, I have hot takes. I'm going with the 7.
Okay.
And here's the reason. It's so gorgeous and it bloomed actually longer than a lot of other salvias do, but then you cut it back to the ground and it looks like this for a while, and then it's gonna flush a little bit, it's gonna do its thing, but it's not that season-long performer that gives you that punch that you really want all the time. So I'm gonna go with 7 out of 10.
I always prefer an annual salvia like Rock and Play in the Blues or something like that over a perennial salvia, just because the bloom time is so short. But I agree with you. I feel like it's a 7 out of 10.
All right, let me do this right here because we need a new texture. Northwind Panicum.
I love that grass so much.
10 out of 10, favorite grass.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, but there was a video of us trying to divide it this past spring. And we do, actually, I shouldn't say trying, because we did successfully do it. And it's come back very, very strong. I'm happy with it.
I love the blooms. I love the shape. I love all of it. It's really fun. We're moving now into, 2 perennials here, and then we're switching. Nosferatu daylily. Ooh, this could be something.
I think there's a place in the garden for daylilies.
Is it our garden?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? To be fair, we've just kind of left them here because every time we think about moving them, we're like, we'll do it later, and then we don't. I don't mind them. I'm super neutral on those. To me, they're a 5 out of 5. But as far as performance, I think they're very strong. I think they're a healthy performer. I think that they do bloom very prolifically. I think they're very floriferous. And I enjoy them for a daylily, but I'm not like a huge daylily fanatic.
Same, 5 out of 10. Very fun perennial. This is something that came back incredibly strong this year. The first season in the ground, not so hot, but this year it came back really well. I'm going with an 8 out of 10 for cotton candy thalictrum, only because it looks so good for a really long time, and then it just kind of sits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when in flower earlier in the season, it's a 10 out of 10 perennial. But once those flowers fade and you cut off the seed heads, the foliage can look a little bit tired this time of year. So I think for that, I think it would be an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, but still a must-have in the garden.
A really solid contender for a 10 out of 10 Astilbe.
Astilbe.
I jokingly say Astilbe as a joke because you don't need to know why. But now I've said it jokingly, incorrectly so often that now that's what I've been calling it. So Astilbe is dark side of the moon. And I love this Astilbe because of the very dark foliage, sorry, bug in the mouth. And I think the blooms are pretty cool on it. I like how you can do it in either sun or shade, so it's super versatile. I would say this is like an 8 out of 10 perennial for me.
I'm going with 6 out of 10. I'm not a big fan of the bloom.
Really? I think that's the coolest part of it.
Nope, not a big fan.
That's interesting. I do like a fluffy bloom though. And then right behind that is Banana Cream Daisy, which I personally love. Christopher and I disagree on this one. I always want to have it in the garden because I think it's so nice to have a cheery pop of white in there. But I'm not completely blown away with its rebloom. So I think it's worth having in your garden, but I wouldn't say it's a must-have in your garden. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
5.
You give it a 5?
I'm giving it a 5.
I know, you're not a big fan
It's
of
just,
it.
I'm not into the daisy.
All right, Bumble Sky Meadow Sage. For me, I have more of a sentimental attachment to this than anything else because it's one of our very first perennials we've ever planted in our garden. And we have divided it many times and spread it around the garden. So for me, it's like quintessential for the Grow For Me gardening garden. I think emotionally a 10 out of 10. I think performance-wise, it's like a 6 out of 10. It does like one really nice flush, and then it looks a little bit ratty, and you cut it back, and then you get this the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would say 6 out of 10, unless it was sentimentality involved, and then it's that 10 out of 10.
Yes, this lamb's ear, I hate it. I can't wait to take it out and replace it. I don't even know what variety it is.
1 out of 10, Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy is,
something.
yeah, it does terrible in our garden. This is the
Dislike.
best it's ever looked.
Yeah, dislike.
So enjoy it. This, though, for me, this is Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone. This, for me, is a 10 out of 10 must-have because as the season's winding down in August, this is going to put out so many flowers. You're not even going to believe how many flowers you see. So when you come back for our full July garden tour, you'll probably start to see buds. And then when you come back for the August garden tour, you'll see these in full bloom. And despite them blooming so late in the season, I think they're a must-have perennial because they carry that season way into the fall. So for me, Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone, because it can handle full sun, and part shade, that's a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree, 10 out of 10. Yes, you have to wait for the blooms, but the purpose that they give you, the purpose that they have of that late season color, and honestly, a very nice tidy clump. They spread just a little bit, but not like those other anemones that go wild. So 10 out of 10.
Let's find more perennials. We have more of the Backlight Phlox. We've got, oh, we don't have many perennials there.
I guess we really can't call the foxgloves a perennial because they're a biennial.
They're biennials.
No.
Oh, let's do this Webmaster.
Here's a clump.
So this perennial is Webmaster. It's a Spiderwort from Proven Winners. And I would say up until about 2 weeks ago, I would have told you this was a 10 out of 10 perennial. I would have been like, it blooms nonstop. It's a cool texture. It's neat and tidy. But as the season has progressed, this is what's been happening to it. So I don't know if you have experience with Tradescantia, but does it normally flop like this?
That's a good question. I would definitely have given this sort of an 8 out of 10 for the cool flowers and all the perennial or the all the pollination going on, but it did kind of go flopped.
I know. I was debating about cutting it back or trying to stake it or something. For me, if something's going to do this and make work for itself, it makes me really not like it. So up until 2 weeks ago, I would have given it like a 9 out of 10. Today, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. So I'm not sure about that one. I think it's really pretty when it's in flower. Stand By Me Clematis, though, 10 out of 10 for me. It's been flowering nonstop all season.
Definitely a heavy, heavy bloomer. It requires a little bit of staking, a little bit of maintenance from us.
But I like this.
I can't give it the 10, but I'll give it that 9 out of 10. It is really pretty.
Yeah. Oh, and then look at our veronicastrum, our Culver's root. That is such a cool perennial to me. I think it's really interesting. I'd love to see it spread throughout the garden. I think it's got great color. I think it has great height and structure. The pollinators love it. I think it's really interesting. I want more of it. I want it everywhere in the garden. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10. Bumblebees agree. It is a 10 out of 10.
And then let's go this way. We have more phlox and stuff, so nothing like that we haven't scored yet. Oh, leading lady over here. This bee balm, first of all, spreads like wildfire in its area that we planted it in. And I kind of like that about it. Who wouldn't want it to spread? It's so sweet. It stays short, smells amazing. The pollinators love it. It just got sheared back last weekend. And I see it pushing growth actually, Christopher.
Which is nice. I mean, it'll be something, we always like to keep track of how long things take to rebloom. So this, I have a feeling will be a quick rebloom.
I would do more of this. I think it's a nice perennial. I would definitely give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10.
Same, 8 out of 10.
Yeah. All right, come on this way to our Brunnera, which I think Brunnera is a must-have. This particular variety is a Jack of
Diamonds.
I almost said Jack of Spades, but it's Jack of Diamonds Brunnera. And for me, the foliage is gorgeous. And then it has the beautiful, like, baby periwinkle blue flowers in the spring. And then you cut it back, and then this is like 2 weeks later, you get this. I think any of the proven winners, Brunnera is a 10 out of 10.
Same, 10 out of 10.
I can't imagine our garden without them. They do well in this. Like, you can see this is almost a part sun location, and they're still doing very well. Speaking of, Sun King Aralia. Sun King Aralia, I think, is a must-have for every garden.
100%.
Awesome.
10
This
out
is
of
a
10.
perennial, believe it or not. And last spring, or last fall, we divided it into 4 chunks and put 3 other chunks elsewhere in the garden, and they're all doing just as well. So it transplants very well. It divides very easily. I think it's great. I would say 10 out of 10. And then look at these thalictrum. These are meadow rue. I believe that the variety is lavender mist. I think they're cool structure, excellent texture. They're starting to flower. They can reseed in your garden. They're easy to transplant. They can handle sun, part shade. These to me are a must-have in our garden. Lavender mist thalictrum, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I think sometimes we forget about the grasses because they've been here a while and they're so beautiful. This is morning light miscanthus. I'm gonna go honestly with a 10 out of 10.
I think it's a stunner, and it's in part sun, and it's doing very well for that.
Yeah, it doesn't get as much sun as you would think it would need, but it's amazing. Can we talk about Walker's Low Catmint?
I love Walker's Low Catmint.
This is the second flush, right, Eric?
Yes, those were cut to the ground late spring.
Yep, they divide easily. They bloom prolifically in the spring. You cut them to the ground. For us, it's about 5 weeks, and we have another flush of flowers. We might get a third flush of flowers, so 10 out of 10 there. Perennial over here. This is Purple Illusion Salvia. This was transplanted and put here last year, so maybe a little bit unfair.
Oh, okay. I mean, I love an annual salvia because I think the performance is just so much stronger.
Like you can push them. You can really do different stuff with them. I am gonna kind of revamp this and get them a little closer together so it's a nicer stand. But otherwise, I think they're doing quite well. We're not gonna talk about—
What are you gonna score them?
6.
I know, I think they're like a 6.
They're kind of like a 6. We're not gonna talk about anything over here because everything's brand new over here.
And most of this to my right, your left is brand new as well.
That's new. The bobblehead, which haven't come into full bloom, this was from last year.
Yeah, that is from last year.
That's a cool
They're
new
blooming
allium.
earlier than Serendipity, so that is a plus.
That is a plus. So we will, let's report back on these once we've seen them in action. Silver lining Artemisia.
Your fave.
Guess what's replacing all of that yucky lamb's ear?
I know.
How great is this? It's been here for about 2 years. It's gotten nothing from us. We kind of forget it's here half the time. It is spread a bit, and I think I'm just gonna cut some of it back because it has kind of climbed over there. But
I wonder if we can divide it this fall.
Ooh, we should try that.
We should divide it and start replacing the catmint with it each year. Or catmint, hello. Start replacing the lamb's ear with it each year.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it performs better for us than lamb's ear.
Definitely. Down here we have another sedum. This one is called Night Embers. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
I would say this has got to be a 10 out of 10. It's reliable. It has dark red stems. It's going to have kind of a pinky flower, and it really just
Yeah, I was going to
pops.
say, got to brag a little bit about that combo.
That's a really good combo. And this was divided and transplanted in the fall and looks this good. Not divided or transplanted this past fall. This is Blue Bubbly Baptisia. This is not, it's great, but it's not as good as that pink lemonade.
Why?
It dropped all of its flower heads, so you don't get that rattle effect. You're supposed to have the black seed pods. They all left.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I still love that texture of that foliage, though.
I know, and this is what we're using to cover up where we have the egress window behind.
Yes.
And I will say I did try planting that gomphrena here, and oops, they're in the shade now.
Not enough sun. So what are you scoring it?
I'm gonna score this a 6 out of 10.
A 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Brutal. I'm going with an 8 out of 10.
Okay, so we've got not a perennial, not a perennial, not a perennial. This is dressed up evening gown heuchera that did not get eaten by bunnies. I think this would have performed better for us over the last couple of years, but it kept getting eaten. So I would give this one probably an 8 out of 10. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, when that Roald Dahl rose is in flower with that beautiful saturated peachy orange against that foliage, that pairing is pretty epic. And I do like how shiny and big the leaves are. So
Big
I can
ruffles.
see it getting a higher score from me. I go give it like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
A 7 or 8 out of 10. But I do see an anemone bud coming.
Oh, there is a bud right here. This is more Fall in Love Sweetly.
Yes. Oh, and there's that Sun King Aralia we put back there.
Also doing it. But while you're right there, Eric, what do you think about creating a little bit longer of a hedge of the dressed up evening gown to contour this?
Yeah, I think we could do that. Those Invincible lace behind it are going to get a little bit wider. So we could probably add 2 more.
Yeah, put one on either end.
Yeah,
and give
one
a
on
little,
each end.
Make it a little smile.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Another peony. This is a grass called Piglet. It's similar to a Hamlin grass. I am going to go with a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that came back so weak.
Because I love it so much, but it comes back so weak and I get mad at it.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely.
It's getting weaker over the years.
Okay. I think we hit the part where it gets brutal, Eric.
Yes.
Let's talk about Aztec Gold Creeping Veronica.
What a bummer. But I don't know if it's the right spot for it.
It could be that. Some of them are starting to creep. Some of them just look creepy. I don't really care for this plant. I'm going with 2 out of 10.
I really wanted to have like the chartreuse pop here, and then it's supposed to bloom blue. It might not be getting enough sun is what I'm thinking.
There's something definitely unhappy about it.
It's something I will probably end up replacing it or something at some point. So I agree. It's like a 2 out of 10 for us.
Yep. And then next to it, Roseanne geranium. Beautiful flower, classic flower, a favorite of gardeners all around the world. Popping out, climbing through the pink Gatsby hydrangea. I really want to love this so much.
I want to love it too. I love it for sentimental reasons because it's one of our first perennials we added in the garden. So overall, I'd give Roseanne geranium a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10, and it's 6 solid points for sentimentality.
All right, all right.
Okay, and then we have one more thing here, and then we can do the switcheroo again. Delft blue geranium.
Okay. I love Delft blue geraniums.
1 out of 10.
You giving it a 1 out of 10? Why?
I hate it. I hate it. I don't like the flower. Now,
what?
It's pretty.
You don't like the flower?
The flower's fine.
The flower is beautiful and unique.
I don't like the leaf, and I don't like the habit. It's just one of my least favorite things.
Wow. And here I am all season being like, look at this showstopper, Delft blue geranium.
He loves it. He loves the Delft blue.
Now, I will say, I don't think the foliage is as pretty as it could be. I do think the foliage gets a little sour looking because it really bleaches out of it. And I think that flower is absolutely incredible. I would probably consider switching that boxwood and the Delft blue geranium because as it gets bigger, it blocks the boxwood. So I'll probably end up switching those this fall.
I hope so.
But we're keeping it.
Yeah, I mean, we're keeping it because he loves it. But
that flower's so cool.
What if we put it in the back?
No, we're going to switch it with that boxwood right there.
Okay, perfect.
All right, well, you let us know in the comments if you're team Delft blue or anti-Delft blue. Come to our little mix of shade right here. So we've got some hostas. And you know me, I'm not going to know the specific names, but Christopher is going to know the names. They are covered a little bit with some leaves falling from the willow. But I believe, actually, Christopher, I might know this one. Is this Neptune?
That is Neptune.
I love the Neptune hosta because I like the blue. I like the rippled edges. I think it's a nice, tidy habit. I would give Neptune like an 8 out of 10 for a hosta excitement. But the one behind it, is that Hudson Bay?
That's Hudson Bay.
Hudson Bay for me is such a gorgeous hosta. To me, with that like avocado guacamole center and then the super dark green edges, I think that's a 10 out of 10 hosta. I think it's interesting and beautiful. And then we have more of our Brunnera, which you know how I feel about any Brunnera, is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I especially like when it reseeds itself. So I think I'm getting ahead of myself and not letting you give a score though, Christopher.
Neptune, I will go with a 7 out of 10. Hudson Bay, 5 out of 10.
Hudson Bay, 5 out of 10. Why?
I don't know.
That's like my favorite hosta we have.
I know. It looks like you smeared an avocado on something else, which is the exact effect it's supposed to have. So 10 out of 10 for performance, but you know, I don't care for it.
You don't like the Hudson Bay hosta?
No, I am very honest.
You don't like Delft blue geranium or Hudson Bay hosta?
See, we can't get them started.
All right, so this one, this is I have no idea what this is, Christopher.
This is Coast to Coast hosta, which is supposed to be chartreuse, not yellowy bleached out chartreuse, but this is user error. It's in a little bit too much sun as this willow has started doing its thing.
But it is so, I mean, it's a beautiful structure, and you can tell it's still healthy and I won't say happy. It's still doing its thing in the sun, but it shouldn't be as bleached out as it is.
It's more of a 7 of 10 for me.
But I like the size of it. I like the size of the foliage. It's very healthy. I don't know. I think it's like an 8 out of 10. I don't know. I'm really liking this combo of hostas. And then we have this other blue one down here.
That's Diamond Lake. There's actually 2 of them in there.
That's really pretty. That to me is like a 10 out of 10 as well.
That's a 10 out of 10 hosta for me. I like the structure of it. It's got just a little bit of Jurassic Park to it.
One of my favorite hostas though is the mouse ears.
Yeah.
So sweet. They're nice and tiny and cute, and they bring that blue. And then right behind it, I think that's Wee.
That is Wee.
That's also cool. I would give mouse ears 10 out of 10. I think it's so cute and it's a classic. And Wee brings a little, pop of fun. So I don't know, like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10 for both.
I think it's sweet. Coleus is not a perennial for us. We do have this hedge of coral bells in front of our Invincibelle rubies. And again, you know me, I'm like not a coral bell pusher. I'm more of like the victim of coral bells being pushed on me by Christopher. So for me, they're cute. They do their thing. So I can't see not having them.
Yeah, and then when they're fully exposed and not smushed by the rubies, I would give these a 10 out of 10. I like the width of the leaves. I like how they're just kind of very round and kind of bold.
Yeah, I mean, we did recently have a big storm that's kind of pushed these things
but I
down
like
on
the
it.
color. I like what they do for this area so much.
I did notice some burning on them though earlier in the season from the sun. So for me, that downgrades them a little bit to like a 6 out of 10. Pink Shebly Lamium, I think it's an amazing ground cover. It has tons of flowers on it usually. Right now, it looks like it's got a little bit of maybe slug or earwig or something's eating at it right now. So we've probably got to treat it. So it does require a little maintenance for us in our garden, but I can't imagine our garden not having it. So I think Pink Shebly Lamium for us is like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
For sure. And then, I don't know, where would we
Oh, well, these woke up this year.
Oh yeah, the mini Marvel Campanula. I'm impressed. They came up very slowly though. They took a while to really find their stride, but I think once they did and they started to flower, they've been flowering nonstop. So I would probably give them like an 8 out of 10. I actually want more, so maybe I'll up it to a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10, because when we say we want more, that means we love it.
Yeah.
This spot right here, it's something we're so proud of. It's the perfect mix of these perennials. The magic show ever after Veronica, this really blue, lovely spike. I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10 on this because it does take a little longer for the first flush to come up, but the second these are done, we'll shear them probably only halfway back because I want blooms as soon as possible, and I think the foliage stays pretty clean. Below that, peach, berry, ice, heuchera. For me, it is an 8 out of 10. This is coming back from the ground very well this year. It has not always done that. So I think it's a little bit of us learning about the watering situation. The blooms it puts up are fine. I am really curious what Eric's about to say.
Oh, Peachberry Ice Coral Bell to me always looks a little bit sad, and it always comes back meagerly. Like it comes back weaker than it did the year before. I mean, I don't know. I could, knowing how well the other purpley reddish foliage does for us in the garden, I could see eventually replacing it with a stronger performer. So I would probably give like Peachberry as a 5 out of 5. I'm pretty neutral about it. But the Ever After Veronica, I really like. I like the color. I like the color of the foliage. And it's very healthy looking. So I'll give it like an 8 out of 10.
All right. Let us go in through here. We only have a handful more. And actually, we're going to be kind of ending in the part shade. I love, hold on, I have to say the whole name or I forget what it is. Okay. This is Fun and Games Shadow Tag Heucherella. I love the leaves.
Me too.
I love the blooms.
Me too.
It came back like a rock star. So 10 out of 10 on this guy.
It's funny, like a Heucherella is different than Heuchera, right?
Right.
And I like this better. I think it comes back stronger. I think the foliage is more interesting. I think it's beefier. I like it.
I think it's fantastic.
I also agree that's a 10 out of 10.
Tucked in here is Fun and Games Red Rover Heucherella. So same family of that mix of Heucherella.
I could totally see replacing the peach berry ice with the Red Rover. It's just stronger.
You know what? And the leaves are bigger and they're more lobed.
Yeah.
I am curious though how this takes in the sun.
True.
Because that area does get a lot of sun. But this is another one. I'd give this a 6 out of 10. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
All right. I feel like I'm being way more brutal than I thought he was going to be.
Well, I mean, if I don't like it, I'm more like take it out.
Okay, now I'm going to fully admit that I do not know the name of 2 of the hostas, but I know this is a drinking gourd, and I think it's a 6 out of 10.
Drinking gourd?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're letting it do its full thing in that squishy spot, because it's supposed to form these leaves that look like a drinking gourd.
That's true.
I wonder if it had more room to do its thing, if it would do it better.
So maybe we take
Because you can see
those
it's
2.
trying to do it.
Oh yeah, it is trying to make that little bowl effect.
Yes.
So what if we took these 2 smaller hostas out and moved that over a little?
I mean, we could.
We could do that.
Low on the priority list, though.
Low on the priority list. A bunch of these things are just planted. We then have Boom Chocolata geranium.
I really like Boom Chocolata geranium when it's doing well. So like that first flush, all that healthy new foliage. At that point in the garden, I give it a 10 out of 10. Then sometimes it can succumb to a little powdery mildew, or it flops a bit, and then we have to cut it back. So at that point, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. So I guess the average would be an 8 out of 10 for me.
5 out of 10.
Oh, geez. Why? You don't like geraniums, do you?
I think what I like is...
You were a geranium pusher for a while as well.
I was, but I think what I like is the low geraniums with the smaller leaves and smaller flowers. The tall geraniums are the ones that don't do it for me.
Interesting.
Because this has a similar habit to Delft Blue. It just goes up, it does its thing. And again, beautiful, like you said, when it's doing its thing. But how long is its thing for?
I thought it was a pretty substantial length. I thought it was nice. I liked it. I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, I'm sticking with, did I say 5? I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
going
have to
5.
convince you. You
That's
get your own
okay.
opinion.
So the last perennial I think we're going to chat on is this small, insignificant, tiny leafed plant right here that actually gets quite a lot of sun for a hosta. This is Empress Wu. It's a 10 out of 10. It is tremendous.
It's super cool. I love it.
It's tall. This is actually 3 plants that were divided about 2, maybe 3 years ago, and they have filled in incredibly. We have had to do some maintenance. We had to cut it back a little bit because it was trying to eat everything around it.
Yeah, I probably trimmed off like the outer ring of leaves.
Yeah, but other than that, this is a really good one. I'm in love with that.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, that was fun to see us kind of disagree a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got any perennials that you'd like to tell us about from your garden, definitely drop a note in the comments.
And to see us rating our annuals, click here on this video to watch. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.